Hi, I'm Mark Cunningham with Grace Property Management. We're recording this video during the first week of February 2021, and we wanted to give some important legal updates for landlords and tenants alike as it relates to what's going on legally with COVID rules, regulations, laws. It seems this is changing almost weekly, and it is. So by the time this comes out, there may be more updates. But as of now, this is the latest information as it relates to how you as a landlord are impacted and you as a tenant are impacted by COVID legislation. And we realize this has been a very difficult time for tenants. It's been a difficult time for landlords. Hopefully it looks like there's light at the end of the tunnel, and I'll share some of that information here towards the end of this video on how financial aid is being made available to tenants. But number one, you need to know that the CDC, that's the Center for Disease Control, the federal agency, they have extended their moratorium on evictions through March 31st of 2021. Now, previously, the CDC did have a moratorium on evictions, which had expired, that has been renewed now, so it runs through March. So that would be for tenants who are impacted. They have to fill out a declaration form saying they're impacted by COVID, and if so, then landlords have to honor that, and that eviction moratorium is in place. Now, all these are pretty complicated laws. If you've got questions, I'll tell you where to go for more information. Secondly, here in Colorado, Governor Polis has just signed a new Executive Order 29, which extends the prohibition on landlords charging late fees to tenants through February of 2021. So if you're a tenant, legally your landlord may not charge you a late fee, and this has been going back some time. I believe this first happened in June or July of last year of 2020 when the governor's order first came out, prohibiting landlords from charging late fees, and he's been renewing that on a month by month basis, and he once again has renewed that. So through February at least, and we'll see what happens in March shortly here, but landlords may not charge late fees to their tenants. That's the second thing to be aware of if you're a tenant or landlord in Colorado. The third thing, the FHA, which is also a federal agency, they have announced that they're extending its foreclosure eviction moratorium for landlords and tenants through March 31st. So what that means is if you're a landlord and you own a rental property that has an FHA mortgage on it, you may not evict your tenant through March 31st. All these things, again, are very complicated and they're not as straightforward as they appear. We'll have links to this information there. But if you're a landlord with a property that's an FHA-backed mortgage or federally backed in any way, remember that they have extended that foreclosure and eviction. So it's both. They can't foreclose on you as a landlord, but neither can you evict your tenant in place if that happens. Now, what's the good news? The good news is there is money being made available to tenants who are falling behind on their rent. A few months ago, President Trump signed into law the COVID relief package. Now, we expect to see this package get larger under the Biden administration, but Trump did sign this into effect, and this is in effect right now. And what a couple of things this does. It gives $25 billion, with a B, $25 billion in rental assistance to states to distribute to tenants in need. Now, it's a pretty blanket disbursement. So what's happening right now is state agencies are receiving these funds from the federal government and they're making it available to tenants. We just heard today from one of our tenants that a state agency has agreed to pay the last couple months of rent on behalf of this tenant. So if you're a tenant and if you are in need, you can jump on our website. We have links to where you can go to apply for some of these funds. But most of the the state agencies in Colorado have made these funds available to tenants in need, and all you have to do is apply. Second part of this bill is it made the relief package available, the $25 billion, retroactive for 3 months. So that means these state agencies will pay for prior 3 months of rent for tenants in need that way. And the federal government being what they are, they always try to put things into bills that really have nothing to do with what we're dealing with. So they did add as well that carbon monoxide detectors must be equipped in all FHA type properties. We're already covered with that in Colorado, so don't worry if you're in Colorado, you already, by law, have to have carbon monoxide detectors. And if you're a client of ours, don't worry, we get that taken care of. But that is now a federal law, part of this COVID relief package. A lot of stuff going on. Things are changing in a hurry. If you're a client of Grace Property Management, know that we're staying on top of this. We are well informed of what's happening. We're communicating with our state legislators. We're communicating with many agencies here in Colorado to help find assistance for our tenants because we care deeply about our tenants. We're so proud of the fact that over the last 10 months of this crisis, our tenants, by and large, to a 98 percentile, have been able to pay their rent. Now, we've worked with them a lot. But they're able to pay their rent. But we're proud of that fact that before it was required by law, we started waiving late fees when this thing first started impacting, because we want to always do the right thing by means of our tenants. But if you are a landlord or a tenant, if you have questions, if you have problems, reach out. We are happy to be a resource. If you're a tenant, jump on our website, rentgrace.com, go under our tenants tab, and we have some links right there that will direct you on where you can go to apply for resources from state agencies to help pay your rent. We know this has been a difficult time. We are here to help in any way we can. Please consider us a resource, and we wish you a lot of success.